If you don't want to do it and your mind is running away from it and you're reacting against it and you're wishing you were somewhere else and you're thinking about some other thing or you're anticipating some future thing or regretting some past thing or being fearful of something, then that's wasted time.
Your energy is simply expended by doing unnecessary, endless activity. When you have so much mental diarrhea, how can you have energy? Suppose you have diarrhea, do you see how weak you feel?
When you actively engage in your own campaign of misery and you actively tell yourself the reasons why it's not going to work, or the reasons why you can't do it, or the reasons why now is not the time, or you're never going to make it happen, or it was great for Jay or great for for Mel, but nothing ever works out for. When you engage in your own campaign of misery, you are creating literally a cancer inside of you.
Just to stop caring what everybody thinks, and that is impossible because you're built to care what people think of you, and you probably wouldn't function in a society that well if you didn't care what anybody thought of you. It's about how you then manage it. So when those thoughts come along about, a negative comment, it's what do you do next with what comes up?
Overthinking is not going to help you in the process, right? You can plan, you can analyze, but do not overdo it. If you are over planning, if you are over analyzing, it's not going to help you.
सबैलाई नमस्कार, म राकेश र TyataEssence को अर्को भिडियोमा हजुरलाई स्वागत छ. Hi everyone, I'm Rakesh. Welcome to another video of TyataEssence.
Have you ever been lying in bed, eyes shut tight, but your mind just won't switch off? Every little thing you said today, every mistake, every what if, just replays over and over again. Feels like your own brain is turned against you, right? Well, you're definitely not alone in this. Today, we're going to dive into what overthinking really is, how it secretly builds up stress, and most importantly, how to find a little bit of peace, even when life feels completely overwhelming. So, what is overthinking? It's basically getting stuck in an endless loop of analyzing, worrying, and second-guessing everything. You might notice it when you coo and stop obsessing over past mistakes or imagining all the worst-case scenarios for the future. It's that feeling of being trapped inside your own head. And right alongside overthinking, stress quietly creeps in. It shows up as tension in your shoulders, restless nights, a racing heart, and that constant low-level anxiety that just drains your energy and focus. The sneakiest part, a lot of us overthink without even realizing it. Subtle, but it has a huge impact on our health, our relationships, and our overall happiness. In fact, studies suggest that stress is a factor in a massive 60 to 80% of all doctor visits. And overthinking itself is closely linked to anxiety disorders, which affect nearly a third of adults at some point in their lives. Let's make this more real. Do you ever replay a conversation in your mind? Thinking about all the things you should have said? Maybe you check your phone or email again and again, feeling anxious about what you might find? Do you struggle to make decisions, even small ones, because you're terrified of making the wrong choice? Any of that sounds familiar? That's your mind stuck in overdrive. It's constantly on the lookout for danger instead of letting you live in the moment and take action. Some other classic signs are that persistent feeling of anxiety, reading way too much into text messages, replaying old arguments, and always needing someone to tell you it's going to be okay. Overthinking is like fuel for the stress fire, and it often operates in a few common cycles. First, there's the blame cycle. This is when you're stuck in the past, blaming someone else for what went wrong, which stops you from healing and moving forward. Then there's the self-pity cycle. It's also focused on the past, but this time, you're blaming yourself. It's a total roadblock to personal growth and taking any kind of positive action. Next up is the control cycle. This is the belief that you always know best, which can shut down your ability to empathize with others or even listen to what they have to say. Then we have the doubt cycle. This one is all about the future, filling your head with self-doubt and crushing your confidence before you even start. And finally, the worry cycle. This is the classic what-if loop that fixates on everything that could go wrong, paralyzing you from making any effort in the present. Recognizing which of these cycles you fall into is the first powerful step toward breaking free. It's about shifting your focus from what if to what is, and from being a prisoner of your thoughts to being the one in control. Overthinking fuels stress through repetitive negative thought cycles that heighten worry and strain. Not just thinking a lot, you're overthinking, and it's a major source of stress. Let's break down how this happens and what you can do about it. Overthinking traps us in a cycle. We get stuck in what's called a rumination loop, dwelling on past mistakes or future what-ifs. This endless loop spikes our stress hormone, cortisol, leaving us feeling anxious and on edge. We also get hit with decision paralysis. You know that feeling when you VA analyzed every single option so much that you end up doing nothing at all? It's mental overload. Our brains also have a negative bias. When we overthink, our minds naturally drift to the worst-case scenarios, which puts our bodies into a constant state of threat response. And have you ever tried to sleep with a brain that just won't shut off? Those racing thoughts disrupt our rest, making us even more tired and less able to cope the next day. All of this leads to serious emotional exhaustion. The constant mental replay drains our energy and makes it harder to bounce back from anything. So why do we even do this to ourselves? Often, it's a mix of three things. First, perfectionism, that need for everything to be just right. Second, a deep fear of failure, where we try to avoid making any mistakes at all. And third, unprocessed emotions, feelings we haven't dealt with that just linger in the back of our minds, fueling the worry. Your brain thinks it's helping you by scanning for danger and planning ahead. But when it's not kept in check, it starts imagining problems instead of actually solving them. But here's the good news. You can break this cycle and regain your peace. It's not about stopping your thoughts, but learning how to manage them. Here are 8 practical ways to do it. First, practice mindful awareness. When you catch yourself overthinking, just acknowledge it without judgment. Say to yourself, I see what's happening. Duh, I'm overthinking right now. This simple step creates a bit of distance. Second, bring your focus to the present moment. Try taking a few deep breaths, really feeling the air fill your lungs and then release. Or do a quick body scan. Notice the feeling of your feet on the floor or your hands resting on your lap. Just 2 to 3 minutes of this can calm your nervous system. Third, externalize your thoughts. Grab a pen and paper and write down everything that's worrying you. Getting those thoughts out of your head and onto a page makes them feel less powerful and more manageable. Fourth, set a time limit for decisions. For small, everyday choices, give yourself a 5 or 10-minute window. This prevents you from falling into the trap of overanalyzing something that doesn't need that much mental energy. Make a choice and move on. Fifth, take action. Instead of just dwelling on all the possibilities, choose one small concrete step you can take right now. Action is the best antidote to worry. It shifts your focus from thinking to doing. Sixth, practice self-compassion. It's okay to be imperfect. It's okay to make mistakes. Remind yourself that you're doing your best and treat yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a friend. Taking risks is part of growth. Seventh, remember to live in the now. As they say, sadness often comes from living in the past, while stress and anxiety come from living in the future. True peace is found right here in the present moment. And finally, number 8, try positive reframing. When you catch yourself thinking, what if this goes wrong? Consciously flip it. Ask, what if it goes right? What's the best that could happen? Turn those worries into hopeful, constructive possibilities. Breaking the habit of overthinking takes practice, but by using these strategies, you can quiet the noise in your head and reclaim your mental peace. You have the power to change your thought patterns and live a calmer, less stressful life. Overthinking is something many of us struggle with, but I've found a couple of simple, powerful ways to reclaim my peace, and I want to share them with you. One night, when I just couldn't shut my brain off, I decided to try something different. I grabbed a notebook, and for 10 minutes, I just wrote. I poured out every single worry, every fear, every thought that was looping in my head. No filter, no judgment, just a stream of consciousness onto the page. When the 10 minutes were up, a strange thing happened. It was calm. It was like getting all that mental clutter out of my head and onto paper-created space. That's when I realized that clarity doesn't come from endless thinking. It comes from taking a small action and then letting go. Here's another technique I use, especially when I feel overwhelmed during the day. It's a simple mindfulness practice. I find a comfortable place to sit, maybe by a window or even just at my desk, and I take a few deep breaths. Then, I choose something to focus on. It could be the warm sunlight streaming in, a tree outside my window, a picture of someone I love, or even just the feeling of being alive. I just observe it for 5 or 10 minutes. I don't try to analyze it. I just notice it with a sense of appreciation and gratitude. I focus on its details, its presence, its beauty. This simple act of present awareness brings my mind, body, and spirit back into harmony. It gently pulls me out of the chaotic spiral of overthinking and grounds me in the now. Overthinking is a normal human tendency. It is our brain's way of trying to protect us and solve problems. But when it leads to constant stress and anxiety, we need to learn how to manage it. Peace is a practice, not a destination. It starts with noticing your thoughts without judgment. Then you can reflect, take a small, concrete action if needed, and most importantly, let go of the outcome. I encourage you to try one of these techniques today. Maybe it's the 10-minute worry dump before bed, or a 5-minute moment of mindful observation during your lunch break. See how it changes your energy, your focus, and even your sleep. You might be surprised at how much lighter you feel. Remember, you can't stop thoughts from popping into your head, but you absolutely have the power to decide which ones you engage with. You can choose to steer your mind with intention, freeing yourself from the grip of overthinking. A peaceful mind isn't a mind with no thoughts. It's a mind that has learned to shape its thoughts with clarity and purpose. Here's to cultivating more calm and confidence on your journey. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.